Welcome back to another Askari Cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, author of the Ancient Illumination series, as well as Yambani Chronicles, and we are joined once again by Jocelyn Short.
Hi.
She is a graphic artist and concept creator that also is a creator of a series soon to be called Bearers. Her comic is coming out. We're waiting. Uh, there will be a link in the description to her link tree to get all of her things, and we're also joined by Jordan Purnell Jackson.
Hey everybody.
He is another graphic artist and illustrator. He is a creator of Eve of Insurrection, Eve of Reclamation, and Grown in the Garden comic series, as well as the illustrator for the Ancient Illumination graphic novels and Yambani Chronicles comics. How's everybody doing today?
I'm good.
Good.
Just was able to rewatch a little of the 75% of this episode. Got reminded of a lot of things.
Okay.
Ready to talk about this.
Cool. So, spoiler alert for anybody: we are talking Acolyte episode 4 today. So, if you have not watched at least up to that point, please recuse yourself from this stream and then go check out the episode. And I guess you can catch the audio when we put it up on Spotify. I'm gonna go through my notes and we will break them down bit by bit for the episode. So we start off at Kafar, which is another like forest planet, to track Kelnaka, and we see him enter his forest home. I think it was kind of interesting. We see these little doodles on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Really, he's going by, and it looks like he's preparing food because he's like chopping up something on like a little cutting block, and there's a pot of something sizzling, and then they cut away to Coruscant. That'll be kind of important for later on the episode. Like I said, spoiler alert, but it does not look like he's expecting to meet his end there. My boy has got some stew cooking. He's got plans. He's about to eat. And I don't think you do that right before you think you won't eat. Then we cut away to Coruscant in the Jedi Temple. We see Jackie training as Osha watches, and then Osha tells her that she's leaving. Kind of, I don't know if she's kind of reminiscing on her time at the Jedi Temple, watching the Padawans kind of training and with their lightsaber stances, with their Bokudin as one of the Jedi Masters, basically put them to the paces. And like I said, Osha tells her she's leaving. Then we cut back to Kafar, and we have May and Mir, who just arrived on Kafar. He tells her where, he's been there before to find the Wookiee. And his questions to me make it seem like he's either the master himself or closer to the master than he kind of lets on, basically, because he's kind of poking and prodding her with questions. Then we see the Jedi Council watching footage of May and Master Saul fight. This has been a big thing on the internet right now because we see a young Ki-Adi-Mundi there, and it's like a huge plot hole because they've now changed his birthday on Wikipedia because he should technically not even be alive yet during this era of Star Wars and the High Republic. I think it's Master Holden suggests that possibly whoever's training May could be a splinter order, and they don't necessarily, or worse, which obviously would be Sith. And that's kind of the other part of that plot hole because in the Phantom Menace, Ki-Adi-Mundi, who's now on the Jedi Council at that time, states that the Sith have been extinct for millennia. So how can he think that they're extinct for millennia and then later on you have him mentioning that, but then you have him here when they're investigating a possible Sith sighting 100 years prior. So it's not that big of a deal to me, but the people that are deep into lore stuff they're gonna fuss over a little bit.
I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, and they did, yeah.
It kind of is. I watched that video and I was like, because when we first show him in Acolyte, I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. I'm like, oh, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so you're just trying to rewrite this race of aliens and make them older than they are?
Yeah. And I had a small nitpick as well that Master Holden said that she's already killed two Jedi Masters. I'm like, technically, she only killed one. She gave dude the stuff. He killed himself. She didn't, not like she was that bad. She offed him. Or so my boy was in his meditative force field and couldn't even get to him the whole time because he opened up himself and took it. Um, I find it funny that they refuse to alert the High Council. So this isn't the actual High Council, but just the regular Jedi Council. And since uh, Master Vestera basically says if we alert the High Council, they're basically going to snitch on us to the Senate, and then the Senate will know about this scandal. So this is kind of the start of a political weakness that we know since we've seen the prequel films and the original trilogy. Like this is the start of ways that people can kind of intertwine themselves and put a wedge between the Jedi and the Senate and take advantage of that, which obviously Palpatine does down the line. And then Vernestra orders Master Holden to extract Kelnaka, but Soul requests to go. And I was thinking, like, this is another thing that was kind of dumb. He's obviously way too close to the situation to go himself at this point, I think. He's emotionally invested, which is supposed to be one of the tenets that they advise these emotional attachments. He tries to counsel OSHA on that, but it's like it's obvious from the beginning that he himself is very emotionally invested, and I think it's going to be a problem. And I think this kind of when Vanessa questions on him, like, yo, why didn't you tell me that this poor girl, could have survived? And I don't know if you guys have seen the meme going on about Star Wars right now. Like, no one could have survived that. There's just a bunch of examples of you see Obi-Wan cut Darth Maul in half, kick him down the shaft, and he goes, "Oh, no one could have survived that." And then you see Obi-Wan again cut Anakin's legs off, and he flies down and gets burnt up by the lava. He's like, "Oh, no one could have survived that." And you see Darth Vader, Palpatine throw him down the energy core of the Death Star. He's like, "For sure, no one could survive." So this is like another example of like a running theme of people surviving the supposedly airtight deaths, and they obviously come back. Uh, and yet, how do y'all feel about Master Soul basically blatantly using OSHA to get to May? I think that was kind of dirty.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
I mean, he doing what he got to do. Jedi's are space cops now. What's new?
I mean, I understand that, but she's basically bait to him.
Yeah.
To get to May, I don't think
you gotta stop the bad. You gotta stop the bad guys. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Jedi cops.
I mean, I think he thinks he's being strategic, and in a way he is. It's a way that's harmful to both of them, but also, there's no way no one was going to get harmed in this situation. Like,
exactly.
No one's going to come out unscathed, whether or not he used OSHA or not. Like, if she ran away, or she was leaving anyway, and then whatever came to pass with May goes down, OSHA probably would have been just as upset whether or not she came with Saul or not. So
yeah. Well, they cut away and go back to the other planet where Kamir is continuing to prod May and ask questions about her mission, basically of killing the Jedi without a weapon. And finally, like, May's starting to catch on. Finally, like, yo, like, what's your deal? What is the deal you made with him? And he's like, I didn't make the same deal. I just owe him. Which is kind of a weird. I still don't trust it. I think there's more to him than meets the eye. But I think they're also telegraphing this. So that's why I think maybe he's not the master. But it seems like they're telegraphing mightily hard that he's actually the master because he's keeping tabs on her and her progress and then asking her questions repeatedly about, well, how are things going? And what do you think? Is this just a test? Or, how do you kill a Jedi without a weapon? I'm just, interested in how things work.
Also, I was confused, or not confused, but I was curious about that line. It was like, that's part of the challenge, I guess, to kill a Jedi without a weapon. But May killed that Jedi in the first episode that was with a weapon, right?
Yeah, that so yeah, she hasn't
Well,
done it yet.
she felt well. Technically, she killed her with daggers. That
Yeah.
was a weapon, but I'm assuming they mean lightsaber.
No, he means no weapon. That's exactly because he said that. He said,
Oh
but
yeah,
you did
doesn't
it.
Kamir make note of like she keeps making that mistake, or she keeps not she keeps messing up with what the master requests.
Yeah, he
So
said. Yeah, he
now,
Yeah.
says that you did it your way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay. And so now I'm I'm curious about that because I'm like, what? Well, of course, one, what is the mission? Like, what is the agenda? But also, like, for her to have killed that first Jedi with a weapon and for her to have done it her way means she has an extra agenda, which takes me back to my previous question, like what happened? You know, like we got that backstory last episode, but it's not enough. I want to
Yeah.
know, what is the vendetta? Like why is it still so bad? What happened?
Yeah, we still don't know that. That's my as much as I've enjoyed the show for what it is. That's one of my main issues is we haven't gotten the answers to this entire inciting event that we were talking about. So
Mhm.
it kind of stops them from moving the plot forward. Like we got 4 episodes to go, and you still really haven't tied the loose end of what happened to set this all in motion. And we have to. What I don't want is for them for the last 4 episodes to kind of rush everything to tie the loose ends to get to the
They're
final
gonna do
climax
it.
because you haven't resolved the initial issue before. Like we're dealing right now with the current conflict, which is finding May because May is suspected of killing this Jedi, and now they're trying to figure out who's trained her. And that's the real reason why, well, kind of the real reason why Saul wants to go. He wants to go because if we just bring her in, or if Master Holden, that's what he tells of Vanessa, if she confronts her and makes her stand down, then we lose a chance at finding out who the Master is. So that's their current conflict. But like you were saying, we still don't know what the Jedi did. We have no clues to what they did and why she's got this vendetta against them when she supposedly started a fire that killed everybody. But of course, if you saw the last episode before this one, you know she didn't kill anybody because they were all just laying on the ground like they just drank up Jim Jones Kool-Aid. That's what they looked like to me. That's exactly what they looked. They didn't have any lightsaber scorches on their bodies. There was no smoke rolling through the building. They were all just kind of, the witches were
They're
sprawled
just
out.
laying there in piles, actually, just like
Yeah.
they fell asleep. Wow.
So
Mm.
then we cut back to Soul catching up with Osha before she gets on whatever transport to leave. And reluctantly, she gets reeled back in to go along on this mission. And I thought their dialogue here was questionable. Did you hear anyone claim or give a stipulation to Saul that if Osha goes, they can go? Because what he made it seem like
Oh,
was
he did make it. He made that clear statement.
he's like, if you go, they will let us go together. But when I have
No.
the council,
He just said that.
Yeah, he literally. Yeah. Also, they were doing. I feel like they were doing that often, where they were saying certain things that either happened off screen instead of showing it to us, and I'm like, which, yeah. I
okay,
don't
that
think
could be one of, maybe he got that stipulation, we just didn't hear it. But
But
I was
that.
like,
Why would
they
you
were
say
going to
that?
send a
Then?
group anyway, because initially she was sending Master Holder to go. Like, you go and extract Kelnaka is exactly what she said, and then search for this assassin. And then that's when Soul comes up behind Vanestra and catches her to let her, to convince her to let him go. But I didn't hear her say, "Oh yeah, if you get Osha to go, then you can go."
I think it was manipulation
Yeah,
on Soul's part to get Osha to go, you know, by saying like, "Oh man, you gotta come with us, man. You really gotta come. If you don't
It's your
come, like
sister.
we can't go. We can't go get her. We can't get her without you. And they're not gonna let us do it. So you have to come. Okay, so you have to come. Get on the ship. Let's go." That's what he said, and that's
I
exactly.
find that odd. I find that odd, but it is kind of on brand because I think like some Jedi have a habit of lying. Like when Luke presses Obi-Wan in the old movies, like, "Why didn't you tell me about my father?" And then he's like, "You lied to me." And he's like, "Well, no, I told you the truth, but from a certain point of view." Like, "Fool, you lied."
Yeah.
So they kind of have a history of it. And then so they're getting ready to go. to Kafar, and we meet Basil, the tracker, and people were flipping out online about this too because supposedly, and it didn't bother me, and it was brief. They're like, oh, we're going to be getting mentioning pronouns because OSHA referred to him as him or they. She mentions they, but
Which
then I
sort of
noticed again that Yord refers to Basil as him again. Um, but like I said, it was so brief.
Yeah, I
It didn't
forgot
matter.
about that almost. I was like, oh.
But I just remember people before the episode came out that they were making a really big, like they were gonna stop and like lecture us on that,
they're making a bigger deal out of it than the show did.
Yeah. And then Yord resumes being a douche after they land, looking for leads on finding Kelnaka. Like he's gonna take the stun gun away from OSHA because that's Jedi property. Then they're looking to find
The
Kelnaka.
goodest boy
I
strikes.
want Yor to die. Like
Yeah.
he's one of those cops. I just want to just get on
Then he
that.
tries to twist it like, no, the only reason I'm being a jerk to you is because I'm concerned for your safety type stuff. I'm like, no, you can knock it
No,
out.
you quick to grab the lightsaber, son. Come on.
The
Man.
goodest boy strikes again. The pseudo paladin.
And Basil to me is it just me or is he just a cute helmeted tracking animal?
Yeah, he's a dog, a beaver, whatever they turned him into.
Yeah,
whatever that creature is.
yeah. They give him like they don't know where he went. They just said Kilnaka
Getting
goes
cold.
off into the forest and disappears, and Yord pulls out some scarf that I assume that Kilnaka wore or had at one time. He sniffs it, and then he runs off into the woods, and they start following him. And then Basil gets spooked at one point when they go into this kind of weird swampy looking creek with these like cocoon things around. Why is OSHA touching stuff? I feel like this is a common theme in science fiction, so I'm going to cross streams here a little bit. It's the same with Star Trek and Star Wars, where you have, I think in what's the other series? Strange New Worlds, where Kirk's brother, they go on some planet and there's something like he's supposed to be a xenobiologist and he's touching stuff that you don't know what it is yet and how it's going to react, and he ends up getting hurt. And it almost happened here because you see OSHA walks by these trees and there's these like weird looking, almost caterpillar like closed up cocoons. And I guess because she starts feeling life in the force again, which I'm assuming because she mentions it that I could feel again, that maybe she was cut off at some point, but she rubs on it, puts her hand on it briefly before Yord or somebody calls her away. And as soon as she slinks off, and all of a sudden, I said, it awakens baby Mothra. And then Master Saw ends up cutting that thing in half.
I got it.
Touch it.
Like, come on.
And then we get a little dialogue between her and Jackie where she explains that she couldn't accept, her loss. And that I think is the reason why she left the Jedi Order. She did before state that it was her choice to leave the Jedi Order when Yord was trying to intimate that possibly that was the reason she may have killed Master Indara, because Indara suggested she not be, continue as a Padawan. And she's like, no, that was my choice to leave. And this, I guess, is the choice, is that she had resentment towards her sister for what she did, and she lost her entire family, and she couldn't just let that go and continue with their training. So she thought it was best to leave. Kamir and May again, and he's pushing her to move forward. She gets tired and wants some rest. And then she finally kind of explains a little deeper what the master's deal is. And she's like, and if I fail, he will kill me. And she noticed that Kamir's face doesn't really change. He tries to recoup after when she basically calls him on like, you don't even care. And he's like, no, I care. But he really didn't change at all. Like, it didn't phase him. Like, when you tell somebody that if I mess up right now, they're going to kill me, you would have more of a reaction than what he gave her.
If he's, I kind of like this idea, this theory that, what we have is that there are two people that are in essence kind of competing for this power. I mean, he's saying he owed dude something, but That also could be a lie. They could be probably acquiring the same thing. Because I always think about the Siths and was it the Rule of Two?
Yeah, with Bane, yeah, the rule of two.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think about that now. Like, are they gonna do it? But it would be interesting if like he, if May, if she were to die, then he's like, all right, I can claim this power, claim
Yeah.
access to this.
That's an interesting question because I also don't think like with the rule of two is there is only supposed to be one to hold the power and one to crave it. So you technically wouldn't have a master, an apprentice, and then like an apprentice be beneath them. There's only going to
There was a show where they had what was it? Tales of the Empire. I think they were doing that with the Inquisitors, where they were actually having Jedi kind of fight each other to become an Inquisitor. It was very interesting. Oh,
yeah. I mean, but that's a different time frame because the rule two comes in effect after Darth Bane basically uses a
that's
force.
older, right? Though that's prior to everything we've seen in animation, though.
Yeah. So then they lose the tracker because after he gets spooked, he gets ghosts and just runs out. His little screech is what's hilarious.
It gets on my nerves.
And yeah, he freaks out, and then they hear May scream, and she's basically tricking Kamir into a trap. And basically tells him real quick, like, I'm gonna flip this. Like, I'm gonna turn myself into Kelnaka. And then he's like, but he'll kill you. She's like, well, he'll have to find me first. And this I found weird. She says, but then he tries to convince her, like, the Jedi will throw you in prison. And she says, not after I tell them who I know. But it's kind of been established that she doesn't know the identity of her master. Like, so she says it herself. She asked Kamir if he's ever seen his face, and he says, you know, I haven't. So I'm like, so who is you snitching on? You don't know nobody.
I think she's just saying that so she can.
Yeah, what if everybody just lying?
Yeah.
But this is stupid.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You're bad at this. Is I wonder if the show is supposed to still be like keep up the mystery vibe. Like if that's still what they're aiming for, because
It's not a good mystery
it's not
show.
as successful as it could be if that's their intent.
Yeah. Agreed.
I just feel like there's not enough. There's not an like. I like a good mystery, but it's like you're not giving us enough substantial drama and just
Because you know what makes good mysteries? It's where something bad went down like right now. Well,
it has to be heinous.
yeah, people should still be getting murdered right
That's
now.
what I mean, they're doing that. They're
They
doing
are,
their best at doing it, but it's still not.
But it's not enough. It's not happening fast enough.
Not working.
Yeah, I have some theories about the end of this episode as well. with that in mind, the mystery aspect to it, which I don't know whether it's being well done or not, because and I won't know that until we get the conclusion. But they stop in a clearing after they hear May scream. They start chasing the noise. May stumbles upon Basil, and then immediately he starts freaking out again and screeching. And then she runs into Kalnaka's home. Soul stops and feels something in the floor. You can tell. It looks like to me, I don't know if you guys caught that. It looks like he's scared of something when he feels something. OSHA calls him on it, and he's like, he doesn't say anything. He just kind of brushes it off, and I'm like, Master Soul got some explaining to do because he denies that something happened. She can obviously sense it. She's like, what just happened? He's like, it's nothing. And then he tells her, look, when we get May safely back on the ship, I'll let you know everything. You're not here to face her. You're here to face the past, and so am I. Like, you got some explaining to do.
That was a real Jedi thing to say, by the way. That was like a real Jedi.
Yeah. And they stumble upon Kanaka's home after May had bumped into Basil. May walks in at first by herself and finds Kanaka slumped in a chair, dead. Fresh lightsaber slash across the chest. They're still like, excuse me, still burning embers in the slash in his chest. And then she turns around and you can see fear in her face as she says, he's here. The Jedi obviously surround the ship, ordering May to come out with her hands up like cops, like you said, in the name of the Republic. Uh,
Oh my god.
the master kind of creepily floats down Mary Poppins style and
Really, Mary
a
Poppins, Rod?
and Alien.
What?
You never the old
What, the
Alien movie when
xenomorph?
the xenomorph is hanging up on the ceiling from his tail and slowly kind of comes down behind them. They don't know.
Yeah.
That's basically what he did. And
Mary
then he
Poppins,
sweeps
that was
Osha
good.
aside with the force,
Mm.
and then force pushes everybody into the trees, and they just fade to black
Fade to black. Dumb. Dumb.
with creepy music, and that's what we get for this episode. Now I have a theory. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm thinking the Wookiee Kelnaka knows the master because there was no signs of struggle. It wasn't they were beefing and fought. My boy was cooking a meal. And it's like, well, what if a friend of yours came over and hey, I'm about to make this for a stew, and he's just sitting there, and homie whips out the lightsaber unexpectedly and just got the drop on him and slashed my boy in the chest. And he just slumped there because it doesn't look like he doesn't have a weapon out. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Jocelyn, you want to go first? Okay. Y'all haven't seen me in a long time. I have a lot of pent up aggression. Go ahead.
Um, I mean, it's possible. I feel like so that was the part I didn't get to in the rewatch, but I
Yeah.
remember on first watch I felt like this is it. At that part it was like, is that this is all we get? Um, but and so I couldn't quite remember like exactly everything that was happening at that part.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that it ended right there.
Yeah. That I was kind
That
of
was a bad
upset with
ending.
that because I felt like we got blue balled. We got cliffhanged real hard.
It
Like,
wasn't even a good cliffhanger though.
Yeah.
yeah,
I like a mean cliffhanger. That was just bull. It was like, first of all, you don't give us a. So this show has been interesting. It's not for me. Hasn't been great just because we start with a lot of action and then you kind of like you you kind of slow it down, which is fine, but you're not like Rod, like what we've been discussing, like not really answering questions,
yeah,
and just like the pacing is off. So it's really annoying when we get to this episode, and as I predicted from the beginning, the Wookiee was going to die next. I mean, when after Torben, I was like, yeah, the Wookiee's next, for sure. I was
Well, yeah,
like,
you got to know that because you know you got to save Saul for
Saul
last.
for last. So it was kind of easy. So I was like, all right, we know he's going to die. So this form of irony isn't going to work. Like, we know he's going to die. At least give us something of substance to look at. It
We
would have
also
been nice to show resistance. Would you go ahead? Go ahead.
I was gonna say we also don't know if he's dead, like because they cut like that.
Nah, I mean,
I mean, it's true. I
the
mean,
Wookiee. I mean, Wookiee's dead. The Wookiee's dead. He didn't make it. They sliced open his chest.
Fair.
He said he was sitting there. He's dead. He didn't fall off a cliff into
Yeah.
smoke or anything.
Fair.
That's
my
how
thing though is that you like his apartment isn't thrashed. They weren't scrapping. Like, doesn't look like they were scrapping back and
But they
forth.
could have. But I'm saying your theory works. But I'm saying from a writing perspective, from like a person who wants to, from a viewer, audience member, I'm like, you could at least had them scrap at least. Give me something. Nothing happened. Like nothing really happened this episode. And then we get to creepiness, which felt successful in a way,
Yeah.
but also felt really cheesy at the same time. It wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't very convincing.
You don't like the bobblehead Venom mask?
And then that's annoying. Yeah, that's kind of annoying me. I'm like, Kylo Ren with a mouth, Joker Ren. What is this? This is just stupid. And he floating like And the thing is, I want to be kind of terrified, but I'm not. We haven't seen him throw hands on anybody. I don't. We've never seen him do anything brutal. So
I mean,
I
the
have no
force push is
connection to it.
strong.
Yeah, that wasn't enough. Yeah, you pushed us into black credit screen. That was
Yeah,
bull. That was dumb.
I mean, the good thing though is that
No.
means they got to be automatically throwing hands opening credits next episode.
Obviously, but come on. What if they just betrayed us? Like, guys, we're gonna do another time. We're gonna cut back to what really happened. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, they can do that, but like I said, that slows the process of it. They do. Now, if we have to go back and see a flashback of what happened with Kelnaka, and I think they are going to do that, but they're going to juxtapose that with the flashbacks we've seen in the trailer of Torben, a young Torben, and Kelnaka fighting from the trailer. So I think they're going to be having that side by side in this 5th episode, and possibly juxtapose that with whatever happened, so we get to see what happened to Kelnaka. And that still doesn't absolve the conflict with May, because we still have to resolve all that. Like I said, it's a lot to tie up with 4 episodes to go.
It's just goofy. I'm disappointed. I was really excited. I hope this just has a. I don't know. I just hope it has
they might be able to stick the landing.
Stick the landing for it?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess technically it's like 50-50 right now. It was like kind of strong first 2 episodes, of course, and you dropped it on the last 2. But I guess there's room for a redemption arc.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a lot of things. I'm in this bag where, like, I usually when I watch something, I'm very much like go with it, enjoy it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hitting these walls where I'm like, why did y'all write this way?
No, yeah,
Y'all could have made this way cooler than it is. Like, this is real. It's real flat right now, dog.
yeah. This episode to me felt like we were just watching people go somewhere.
Who wants to watch people go somewhere? What?
That's what it felt like to me. Like,
We're going to watch people go somewhere in the Star Wars world. We're not going to do anything.
Space road trip.
yeah,
Whoa.
We got to go hiking.
Yeah.
We're going to hike.
That's what this felt like to me,
Whoa.
and I was just like the action and intrigue was fairly steady the first 3 episodes, and then it took a nosedive a little bit here. So I'm hoping it'll come back up next.
What are the odds you think we see a Basil toy and Pip robot little toy with like a squirt bottle? You can squirt Basil in the face with the Pip water gun.
It's coming.
That's
this
real
show,
specific. That was.
I feel like the main reason this show aired was not because of the storyline. It's probably because those characters tested well with audiences before the show aired, and so because audiences probably approved those characters. Now they're gonna make toys of them.
Oh, most definitely merch. That's merch all day. Come on, Basil's gonna be a whole plush.
They're gonna be at Disney.
Okay. Is Basil supposed to be kind of like a beaver? Like when I see his face, think of a rodent meets a beaverish rodent.
Yeah, he looks like a beaver type of alien. Beaver alien.
Beaver alien thing. That's weird.
It walks on 2 feet. And, yeah.
It makes that weird annoying high screech sound.
Puts on clothes. I mean,
why is he putting on clothes? Wookiees walk around. They don't really have clothes.
Yeah, they don't really.
That's great. They don't really wear clothes.
The long belts. They just got the long belts that go over the shoulders and sashes and stuff, but they don't have like full on pants and shirts and whatnot. They got to be free. Wookiees got to let them hang.
Oh, they're hairy.
See, I'm still curious. Like I said, I'm just worried about the pacing. Is how we're going to tie all this up in the amount of time that we have left. Unless, I think we've discussed this with other shows, unless they're going to elongate the later shows. So instead of a 45-minute to 50-minute run, we get like an hour and 10 minutes or something like that to try and string the story out. I don't know how they're going to wrap everything up.
What was the last Disney show that they had where they actually did that?
Didn't The Mandalorian do that for some of the ends?
Oh, thank God. Yes, it was Mandalorian. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. I can have hope again. For a second, I was like, I've lost hope, but I believe.
And the budgets, they got the budget for it to make some longer episodes. Wasn't it like 180 million or something like that?
I don't know, man. Hollywood's gone through some things. They cut corners.
They're cutting corners?
They cutting corners.
Yeah, so this should be interesting to see how if they can pull this off. I hope they do. Hope they stick the landing, and we get something meaningful out of these conflicts, and they don't just brush them aside or speed past some things to get it over with, so we can get to this last conflict. But I really do think we should have started the series with the inciting event, got all that explanation over with, so that we could just focus on the main conflict in the present time.
Yeah, I agree because I'm like running, I'm running the numbers and calculating. I'm like, boom, we started at this point. That's one episode. Honestly, that's a whole episode right there. We're already interested. Then the next episode, we see Andara died. Maybe we time jump. Andara is killed, and then we're understanding what's happening.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do was keep it simple.
It makes me think about Castlevania. Not that these storylines are similar in any way, but just the way that have y'all seen Castlevania?
Yeah,
Some of them.
I enjoyed the animated series. The first one was really good. The second one,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I this is making me think of Castlevania because the first 2 episodes of the first series were so excellent. Like the inciting incidents were so solid and very clear as to why everything else that happened in that show happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like the inciting incident was provocative enough, was chilling enough where it was like, yeah, okay, this is the path we're going down because this happened. And I'm with you. Like I wish we knew what was so bad about everything that happened.
That's what each point I'm like, you're not gonna tell us what Saul did. You're not gonna tell us what these dudes did.
That's one thing I can appreciate about a good anime. They'll just start it off. Somebody's family member died, and it's gruesome. That's all I need to see. That's all I need to know. To like, all right, this main character's family got murdered.
Attack on Titan.
Then we know it's
Elfen Lied. I don't know if you've seen Elfen Lied before.
Didn't see that. Almost did though. I mean, technically Naruto. No.
Just watch the first episode.
Okay.
Just watch the first episode and let me know how you feel about Elfen Lied.
All right. Okay. So you got to start with that. Just messed up stuff happening. So Disney could Disney could have taken a playbook from those shows, but
yeah. As well as May, we still don't know how she survived. From a little girl being left behind, everybody dead, and y'all just picked up her sister and took off, and nobody thought to go back, obviously, because you thought she was dead. But I need to see how she survived, how she comes into contact with the Sith.
Do you have theories?
They what?
Do you have theories?
On how? No, I don't.
I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. I just want to wait until they tell us.
Because we haven't been with the thing with Kelnaka, I've been given puzzle pieces to kind of put together for my theory there. But with May and her actual survival, we've been giving little to nothing. We see her drop and Osha kind of screaming as she drops off the bridge down the shaft into that ravine, and
I wonder
if at the end look at the bunta tree, and that's it.
I wonder if because May was the one who she could actually use the Force, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was stronger. It looked like
Osha was struggling.
Yeah. I wonder if when she fell, she probably used the Force she used the Force to stop or slow her fall.
That's what I would think. I would make that assumption. I had it in my head. I'm like, we're gonna watch her kind of push herself into a hole that shoots out to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And let her shoot.
And also, this whole thing makes me feel like Saul is a bad Jedi in general.
He kind of is. He's getting too emotional. He's getting caught up. He's lying. We're clearly we're not gonna trust you. And really, Saul's just a guy out here.
But also, I'm like, why didn't you check to see if she was dead? I
mean, it was burning. You got to save somebody. You can't save them.
Yes, but I'm just like, all right. After all of that, I'm like, if y'all were counting on her being dead, why didn't someone else go back and search the parameters of the place?
You just reminded me of the episode where Osha's like, we gotta go back.
Yeah,
we can't go back, and I'm and that's what makes it weird that he's so insistent on we can't go back, because y'all did something.
Yeah,
the Jedi's did it clearly.
The other thing, it was clearly obvious the place didn't burn to the ground.
That's what I'm saying.
There's fire, but it's not like it's just smoke and embers the whole thing as they go away.
So everyone's lying. People are just lying.
And but we have to have someone we can trust. Someone has to be telling the truth. Who is it?
Hopefully it's not Yord.
The writer. Wow. Yord's the only one that's been honest. I mean, Yord is actually the only one who's authentic to himself. He is that guy. He's like, what we doing?
Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with the candlestick. That's yours. All right, that's all right. He's the one. He's the one we need.
He got all bougie with the languages too, because Osha couldn't understand what Basil was saying. He's like, yeah, most people want to learn Shiri, but I wanted something that was a little more nuanced.
Nuance, like nobody asked you. Shut up.
And you know what though? But you know what? Now that we're talking about this, he has become more interesting to me because he probably is the only one telling the truth, like being his self in this entire show at this point.
I'm agreeing with you on this, to be honest. I fully I'm with you on that. So maybe when I see this next episode, he won't be getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
If he makes it. Well, him and Jackie aren't, they don't have the baggage that Sol and Dara, Kelnaka, and Torben have. So they're not a party to the dirt they did in the past. So they still have these idealized visions of the masters, basically. They don't know the dirt that they did, so they're probably thinking that everything is on the up and up and have no idea what dirt these fools did back in the past.
And if they're gonna reveal is, let it be dirty. Come on, let it be gruesome. Show it. Stop telling.
Yeah, man. Well, this is kind of a short one, but they, like you said, they didn't give us much this episode. They left us in the end. I'm kind of excited for the next one because I'm hoping they just go straight to getting to work. When we open credits, they just gonna be scrapping, and we're gonna see how bad this Sith is. Because when they get up, and okay, it's time to go, and now you don't have the element of surprise because he surprised you with the first low force strike. Now we're gonna.
I don't really know how he surprised you. He was kind of walking up on y'all kind of slow.
I mean, they were all standing there dumbfounded,
looking stupid. Like, it's 10 of y'all. Like, and that's what was really getting on my nerves. I'm like, so y'all brought like 10 Jedi, 10 cops to the scene right now to fight to find one person, to extract someone who's dead, and then y'all are gonna obviously have to fight one person. So, and I'm feeling like they're gonna open it up, and half of them are already gonna be dead. It's gonna be something stupid like that.
Oh, they better not do that.
Yeah, they're gonna be now. Somebody's gonna be impaled.
Like, there better be opening credits. Ding ding. Let's go. Let's get ready to go. Yeah.
It's awful strange. I wonder. I'm gonna look up the writers because I'm like, for a show that's supposed to be more mystery, so this feels less like a mystery than it should. And I'm like, well, why didn't y'all hire like mystery writers who write mystery to write for this show?
I don't even know I thought the showrunner was not showrunner. I thought one of the writers was a woman who wasn't familiar with Star Wars and was trying to bring in this experience, which I respect that greatly because we need different perspectives. But like you're saying, Jocelyn, we need this to kind of like who's writing this and they don't feel it really not feeling.
Need the show to pick up the pace.
Need some real mystery writers. I'm like, wonder if this person has those mystery writing credentials.
Like we can sit on the show and we can talk about it and I can say wanna but I wanna feel wanna in the show.
We'll go ahead and end it on that note. Let's appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to talk about these things. We'll catch up next week, and hopefully, like I said, we get to wrap some of this mystery up so we can get to the final conflict in the last 3 episodes after this 5th one coming up, because I think they got to open up fighting and giving these Star Wars Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fight we get with the group of them now, because it's all the Jedi in the forest, but we'll see. The 15 or 16 of y'all that called us on live, I appreciate you all taking the time out of your day to listen to us chop it up about these things. And we will see you all next week.
Bye.